Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Bugatti La Voiture Noire in multiplayer in Asphalt 9 at 3 stars. As this is probably the car in Asphalt 9 that I am furthest from ever being able to get, Sacro Light has given me some races in his, and we're going to see how it does in slipstream multiplayer. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, as we're getting very close to 40k, which is crazy, and when we reach that I'll be uploading my 6th Asphalt 9 music video, and I hope you enjoy these races. So I know that the LVN probably has one of the worst reputations of any car in the game. Not really because of its stats or anything, but because of the ridiculously difficult and expensive Drive Syndicate. I have made a video all about that event that I will link in the description if you haven't seen it yet and are curious as to why the Drive Syndicate event was so bad, and I will probably be talking about that some in this video because it's kind of hard to avoid driving the car that was in it, but I don't really want to beat a dead horse, and I am going to be talking a lot about just how the car is itself, because I feel like this is one of those cars that, given the difficulty and expense in the event, hardly anybody actually managed to get. I know Sacro Light did, and I have a couple other people who are doing races for me in a maxed LVN, so you can expect a video about that sometime soon as well, but really not very many people got it, and I'm sure a lot of you are curious as to how it really does perform. So I just wanted to clear up sort of what this video was about. It's going to be mainly about the car itself, how it performs, not about the event, because yeah, I already made a whole nother video about that. At max, this car has been considered to be the third best car in the game. Now, we haven't gotten many chances to test that, but as I said, I will be uploading at some point a maxed out LVN video where we'll be able to see that hopefully a little bit clearer. The Esco and the Tuatara are still better than it in pretty much any case because their speed is way higher. The LVN does not go above 300 just with its normal speed. And while we won't be able to see its full power in this video, we will be able to see how it does at half stars, where it is still quite powerful. So in these first couple of races, Sacro Light is facing this Speedtail here, and as you can see, it is a pretty good game of cat and mouse throughout a lot of the race. Sometimes the LVN gets ahead, sometimes the Speedtail gets ahead. The LVN is definitely faster, but the Speedtail might be just that little bit more agile. I thought it was really cool to see a Speedtail in these races too, because at least on Windows, that is also a very rare car. So we have two of, in my opinion, the rarest S-Class cars in the game in a race together, dueling it out and having it be extremely close up to the very end, where the LVN does get a little bit of a speed advantage going off the final ramp around the final bend and comes in first. At 3 stars, the LVN goes around 277 miles per hour. Which, of course, is not the best in the game, but it is faster than the likes of the Fenner and the Inferno and cars like that. The acceleration at 81 is also pretty good. Again, not the very best, but better than a lot of the Class S cars. However, its handling and nitro are not the greatest. They're both around 50, and its drifting radius, though, is pretty good, but the nitro is noticeably short. Now, it isn't as short as a car like the Tri-Nemesis, for example, and we're now pretty used to having relatively low nitro efficiencies in the high-end S-Class cars like the Chiron and the Regera. I mean, those don't have great nitro efficiencies either, so that's no real big surprise here. Overall, from what I can see in this video, and I have gotten a chance to drive it myself, it seems to drive pretty well. I say as the LVN crashes into the corner because it was going a bit too fast for the drifting. Now, I'm pretty sure the radius does get a bit better going to max. It isn't the greatest, but it is definitely better, at least than the Devos used to be. And a lot of people pointed out in my Devo video that the drifting radius of that car still isn't great. Yeah, it's definitely not still like one of the best in Class S, but it is definitely improved a lot from what it used to be. And for some reason here, the game gave the Genti the win. No idea how that happened, because Sacro came in quite a bit ahead of him in the Bugatti. And we have now got a race against an SSC Tuatara, the second fastest car in the game, and quite a bit faster than this LVN here, at least 40 miles per hour. But I would argue that the LVN, even at 3 stars, is probably a little bit more agile than the Tuatara, so we'll have to see how that comes into play on San Francisco, which has some sections that the Tuatara might be able to do better on, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some back and forth throughout the race, and this is me not having seen this race yet. Typically, when I'm making a video with races from other people and not myself, I don't watch watch the races in full ahead of time. That's so I'm able to get a bit better reactions throughout the video as to stuff that happens, which is a little bit different than my own races where I already know what's going to happen, at least if I've recorded them pretty close to the time that I'm doing the voiceover. But in the races driven by other people, generally I just check to see what place they got at the end of the races and just generally how close the race might have been, so I can choose the best ones while still being a bit surprised throughout it, and this race was extremely close, really trading blows. However, the Tuatara with its better speed is able to pull ahead at the very end. Although it seemed like the LVN was going to pass it on that ramp, it was alas not the case. And now we move on to a race on Nevada. Here we have another fast car that goes a similar speed as to the LVN. It is the Rimac C2. Also, as you typically do see in multiplayer, there are a couple of Hueras as well as an Aston Martin Valhalla. And because I have the Valhalla at 4 stars, and I guess more importantly because I don't go for Legend Pass cards because I don't buy things in this game, I won't be going for the Victor because it is the new Legend Pass car of this update. While I think it looks a bit derpy, the headlights don't really go with the rest of the car in my opinion, it looks like it could be a definite A-class beast, and honestly could be better than the Imola at max depending on how stable it is. And probably I will be able to show the max stats of these cars. I mean, I don't even have them yet, but probably the max stats of the new cars in the update will come available in around a week or whenever the update drops. Now, as what happened in the previous update, we might be restricted to the few cars that are coming out in the first half of the update, because that's typically what Gameloft has done recently. There's been the first half with a special event and a Grand Prix or something like that, then the second half has another special event, usually with one of them requiring the Legend Pass, like for example the Mazzanti is this time, which by the way I will be making a video about at max, which I recorded in the previous season. But anyway, this coming update, I do not believe there will be a special event that requires a Legend Pass car. In the notes at least, all they said was that the Victor was going to be the Legend Pass car and the 2 special events we're getting didn't say anything about any of them requiring the Legend Pass, so that's cool. A step in the right direction if only one car in this update is required to have money in order to get, but we'll have to wait and see. So not only will I be uploading a music video at 40k subs, but I also have another announcement to make soon as well. Some of you may have already found it. If you go to my channel page on desktop, you might see a link to it, but I will be making an official announcement about it soon, and then you will know everything you need to know about it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Also, the best and worst cars in each class list video is still on the radar, but I'm not really sure now when it will be coming out, as I've been working on the music video a lot recently, and so I haven't had as much time to work on that other one, but rest assured it is coming. And in this race, man, we have another real dogfight here, going up this ramp basically neck and neck with this Rimac, and I think one reason for this is because this car at 3 stars and the Rimac are fairly similar in terms of speed, I'm pretty sure, and just overall good competitors for each other. Now Sacro Light does manage to pass him at the very last second to come in first place. Those are some of my favorite races, where it's either a comeback or you've been neck and neck throughout the race and you pull ahead at the last second. Those are always so satisfying. And now we're moving on to the final race in the video, which is a duel against a Tryon Nemesis on Osaka. This should be fun. So now it is time for my general review about this car. I'm going to be saying more about its maximum performance when I do make a video about it at max, but just thinking about it at 3 stars, it's still been pretty good throughout this video, taking on a whole lot of other more familiar high-end S-Class cars and doing very well against them, and we'll have to see how it fares against the Tryon in this race. It's one of the fastest cars in the game, although not nearly as fast as the Jeska or Tuatara, and more along the lines of the Chiron and the Rimac. Even at 3 stars, it goes around 277, which is definitely more than enough in most cases. Also, its acceleration is quite decent, not the very best, but the 81 definitely gets it up and going. The nitro efficiency isn't great, it's kind of mediocre, but again does not really pull it down a lot because of the quite good acceleration. The handling is decent, as is the drift radius, but it's not really anything to call home about. I really wish the Drive Syndicate would have been accessible to more players, because the LVN would definitely have been a good competitor against the other high-end S-Class cars, especially in multiplayer. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you to Sacro Light for these races. Please like the video if you've enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!